Hey everybody, welcome back to our neck of the woods. So starting off in this video, we're just gonna go ahead and talk about some updates. We finally got a hold of a few manufacturers and we're gonna tell you what's going on with all of the products that we're waiting on. So the first question that I keep seeing is when are we going to get the rest of the doors in and the windows and what's up with the front door and stuff like that. And well, we just got word from the people that we bought the door from. We got a hold of the general manager and he contacted us. What he did was actually go to the manufacturer Therma-Tru themselves and look at it himself. So the first thing is, in his opinion, the color matching has been done. The camera picture that we got where it looked like it still wasn't 100%, he stated it was just probably the camera flash. In person, he said the door looks great, but it looks like absolute crap up close. Not because of the color, but because of that jam. And he's pretty disappointed, and he's like, when we sell stuff and we receive it in, we have a quality control guy at our facility that looks at everything, and if it's not good enough to install in our own house, then we're not gonna give it to the customer. And he's like, it looks like absolute crap. We went with Therma-Tru because they were the ones that should have most easily been able to get an ICF door to fit, because obviously on our first floor ICF, we have a 2x10 there, so we're dealing with roughly 9.5 inches of jam depth, and that's just not normal. So he thought that they had the simplest design around the door that they could accommodate for that 9.5 inches, and he's like, they failed miserably. It doesn't look good at all. I'm not happy. But what we want to try and do is get it to our own guy who used to be a cabinet maker and basically make it look a little bit better and trying to get it to fit a little bit better. And I said, it looks like the only real problem is, one, for that bottom looking like crap, where the caulking's already like cracked off and they added in that extra 1-inch piece. I was like, it looks like, can't you just get a hold of that aluminum sill pan and make it 2 inches longer, or make a custom aluminum sill pan that obviously it still has to go at like a 5-degree down angle, but get one that is just a little bit longer, and it may not have that exact tread design so your foot doesn't slip. But he's like, yes, we want to have a look at it with our custom guy, see what he can modify and make it look better. And if you get right up on it, maybe you'll notice a difference. But he's like, I would not take delivery of this door. I would not do anything with it. But again, Therma-Tru should have the easiest time in doing it. They just failed at it because, again, they just don't deal with custom jam depths at like 9.5 inches every day. So we want to see what's going to happen from here and get some actual pictures of the entire door. Luckily, the Therma-Tru manufacturer is actually here in Ohio. So if the door was ever shipped in to where we bought from or shipped to our house by the company that we bought from, it can always go back or get changed, and it's not like anyone has to drive really far or do a crazy delivery, because all three of us are right here in Ohio. That is as much update that I can give you guys on the front door. I know probably 90% of you all said, screw that thing, get rid of it, be done. But at least with talking with the general manager, and I think I've mentioned this to you guys in comments before, a lot of people wanted us to go the custom route. The problem with a custom route is we're building an ICF house. We want that R value. We want that insulation. So to go with a custom whatever, a custom is going to be basically all just pure wood. So not only does wood have the opportunity to shrink and crack and bow and bend and everything like that, wood, again, only has an R value of an R1 per inch. A custom door, maximum we could probably do is maybe 3 inches. Well, that's an 8-foot doorway by 8.5 or so foot wide. So that would literally be only like an R3 for that entire area. That would basically, in my opinion, almost be like throwing our ICF like right out the door. So custom is not going to be the way. We have to have the jams and the door and everything actually made by a door manufacturer, because it's going to be fiberglass and insulated and stuff, so that R value is going to be a hell of a lot higher. It may still only be like an R10 or an R whatever. Let's say if it's closed cell foam or something, it would only be like an R14, but that's still going to be a heck of a lot better than like an R2 or 3. And then as for the updates on the roof, so we only just got the last sample, guys, like a week ago. So we've only just now told them, I think last Thursday or Friday, okay, that is the color, let's do it. They emailed me back and said, we need the exact dimensions of everything just to make sure on everything. And we're obviously gonna exclude giving you any of the under laminate because you're already waterproofed and everything. But what I still need to find out from them, and again, we had the weekend and then we had the holiday, I still need to find out with all of the outer trim that I've already bought, do I have to rip all of that out, or can I use what I already have, which means that will come off the price of the roofing. And I don't know if their roofing panels have like an interlock system with like your outer gable walls. I don't know if it's an interlock system around where the gutters are gonna go. And then I don't know what piece they're gonna give me or wanna talk about where we have to flash out where I've already put flashing. And that would be the flashing that goes on top of the roof for the garage and then transitions into the wall of the house. So I've already got pretty much the garage already flashed out. So either that was a huge waste of money, or I can go ahead and still use it. It just depends on how those panels actually finish off and interlock on all of the edges. And then as for pricing, guys, it's not cheap. I figured out that roofing, they charge, or state roofing products, they go by the square, which means a 10-foot by 10-foot area. And the stuff that we ended up picking, the Kessel Shake, even though it's steel, is actually more expensive than the classic, or the Cedar Classic that was made in aluminum. So even though the steel is cheaper because we went to a different design, the steel actually becomes more than the other aluminum. And again, it's a 26 gauge, so extremely thick and heavy stuff, which is why I can't dent it when I punched it with my full fist. But they are charging $450 a square, or $4.50 a square foot. And then that Thermabond paint that we want, instead of going with that really smooth, shiny, flat powder coat, and we're putting on that 120-year warranty, super thick powder coat that makes it grainy and not shiny, almost like a regular like asphalt shingle, that adds $175 a square, or $1.75 a square foot. So we're up to $625 a square for the roof. That is very expensive, but I think if you were to go with like a 24 gauge stand and seam through somebody else, I can almost guarantee you that some roofs are probably over $10 a square foot, or $1,000 a square. So it's definitely on the high side, but that is roughly where we are at now with payment. Again, that does include the trim. So if this gets counted, we might be able to get rid of that. But as opposed to asphalt shingles, I did say it to Erin one more time, at least because money is getting tight. What would she think about doing an asphalt shingle roof? And I looked that up, and guys, asphalt shingles are around 78 cents a square foot versus $6.25 a square foot. So that is heartbreaking to hear such a vast difference in price. But again, you're looking at a metal roof that's going to last 120 years indefinitely, pretty much, or a asphalt shingle that you're almost guaranteed to have to rip off every 10 to 15 years. Even though the manufacturers say they last 30, it doesn't happen. It just doesn't. So yeah, we still need to talk about that and place the order, but we're waiting on after the holiday for them to get back and give us a final quote, and then we'll know what the roofing situation is now. Oh, and then one more thing on the roof. People keep telling me to go ahead and plumb and get all of my roof vents and everything done. We actually are gonna have 0 penetrations in the roof. That is something that I wanted from the get-go, and it turns out, as I talked to a certified plumber who lives down the road, there actually does not need to be venting going through the roof for your plumbing. You actually are allowed to punch out of a gable wall and then 90 up, which means that's going to be a hell of a lot easier to have a pipe shoot out close to like the outside soffits here. Seal that around where the siding is, and then just worry about the pipe going up outside of the outside soffit there. So there's going to be no issues of basically the roof ever leaking, because there's no penetration failures to ever do, and that is what I wanted. And for Ohio code, you are allowed to go out of a sidewall, and you do not have to go straight up and out of the roof. So besides those updates, let's get back to cracking on the electric. My dad wanted to come out here, but as you can see, it's raining again. So us driving a telehandler back in through here, we've already know I've gotten a few other lifts stuck back there, so I'm not really confident on pure, very slippery clay that we can drive back there and do the back windows and the back door. But that is going to be the goal, that we have to get my father and a few other people out here, especially for those massive windows and that back door. We need to actually be able to rent the telehandler on a good dry day. So we've got like a bunch of moving components there to actually get that going. But that is a goal very soon, to get all of the windows and doors in on the back of the house. And then we are just waiting on the finalizing of which products we're going to go with on our siding. It's still up between which one fails more often. And every time I look online, people complain about LP failing and people complain about fiber cement failing. But luckily, since we're doing board and batten, I think there's less chance of failing, and I think no matter what product we're going with, we're gonna paint it ourselves. So if you get a failed edge, like let's pretend this guy right here is a batten strip. If you start getting like right in there, you see how LP doesn't get all of their primer into all of those cracks? And right there, if you can see it, the upgraded diamond coat painting process that LP gives to that company to paint, they also still 100% do not get their paint within those cracks. And that is why LP fails. You have exposed OSB that is not primered, that's not painted. Water gets in there, especially on lap siding. It goes down that drip edge, wicks back up into the product, and then it blows out. But I've also seen separation of James Hardy when it gets too wet, and other fiber cement. So still haven't 100% decided, but again, I think we are going to go with primed. So again, pretend that this is a batten strip up against the wall. Since we're gonna be painting it, I'm gonna be looking at all of those edges myself, and either putting caulking on my finger and jamming caulk into those gaps, those little gaps there, or when I'm actually painting it, I will make sure paint actually wraps over that gap so that water cannot wick in and actually start to destroy the siding. And that would be the same thing with hardy board or any other fiber cement. I would pretty much want to go with more of a primed, and then me paint everything individually. And you guys know I'm already OCD enough, like right here where part of the rubber wall was separating, where the OSB zip was expanding and contracting, and where the actual 2x12 here was expanding. I got a little bit of a crack here, so that's me getting some black silicone and being like, nope, I'm gonna go ahead and seal that back up. So I'm pretty confident my product will last no matter what I get for a long time, but we're still waiting to get final pricing on everything between the two, and then we'll decide, purchase it, and we'll actually start to install it on the outside of the garage first. Hey everybody, welcome back. It's actually a few days later. I've been picking up more at work, and working third shift just sucks. When I get home at like 7 in the morning, although sometimes I try to get off at like 3 or midnight, since I'm allowed to make my own schedule, and just pick up what's as needed in our local emergency departments where the need is the most. If I get off at midnight or 3 in the morning, I sit on the couch, eat dinner, and then I just stay up too late. And then I sleep all the next day. Or if I work till 7 a.m., I have to sleep all day anyway. Not a lot gets filmed when I'm tired and just kind of working late at night, but we are progressing. I have done some things over the last few days. As you can see, we got a few more lights in. We got a 3-way switch installed up here, which I believe is code. So when you're at the top of the stairs, you have a light switch that you turn on so you can go downstairs. And I don't know if, because this is going to be an all open concept, If that light there is the only one that I need, it is installed on a 3-way switch, but right now it's just kind of dangling up here and sealed off, so no one can actually touch it, at least not from ground level. You can kind of reach over here, but don't touch that. But I don't know if I need to install a light basically like right here, because again, I'm standing right here at the bottom of the stairs and you can clearly see that there's light lighting up the stairwell. But I may have to throw another light in there, so you've got one at the top and the bottom that will make code a little bit happier. And then I got some wiring plumbed up so that we've got a switch going up here. We actually decided to return all of the lights. Aaron thought that this was enough where you're seeing right now. So we're not doing 4 more pot lights inside of the living room here, but right up in the dead center, I'm gonna wire up a box so that maybe we can put like a massive fan and maybe a fan light combo. So that will be 1 more light there. And we still have the chandelier that's going right up in here on the front foyer. So I think with all of the lights on like they are right now, this is plenty of light, especially if you have a chandelier there, which even these little 60-watt LED bulbs, there's only 3 of them in that closet. You can just see how freaking bright they are. And you all know a chandelier is gonna have 4, 5, 6, 7 more light bulbs. So even on a dimmer switch, that guy's gonna give a hell of a lot of light for this living room. And I really don't think that we need any more than that. So should be good. And oh, and the dining room and the pendant lights. So there's still 1, 2, 3 more lights that need to go in, all with multiple bulbs too. So that's gonna be a hell of a lot more light than what I'm seeing right now. So I think we should be good. And then I got about halfway through the master bedroom. All of the wire has now been pulled. All 10 outlets in here are ready to go. I only got 3 of them done the other night. I'm gonna finish this one over here today, this one, that one over there. I'm actually not going to wire up that one or that one, because until we get the windows in with a strong enough wind, water will blow right up against this Tyvek, run down, and then water's gonna get into these outlets, and that will not be a good day. So I'm just gonna leave those wires sit with no outlets, and I'm not gonna connect it up into the box, into the basement. And same thing over here. I am not going to, I'll wire these ones up, but I'm not gonna actually install the outlets because that's a safety issue as water can drain down there and get wet. And then other than that, guys, I think we're really close. I need to basically now just wire up the master bath, the half bath, and I did throw this stud in here. So now at least I can have an outlet on this outside here. And this is a 3-way switch that will again control that fan if we put it in there. We may never use it, so this will go maybe to nothing. But at least it's there. And then I still have to build the walls in here so we can get the bathroom outlet and the bathroom fan and light installed. And then that will be done with that. And then, like I said, guys, I think we're super close on being done with electrical. The only thing I have to do in the basement is we just made a Home Depot run. We got 2 more lights, one above the electrical panel. So when you're actually down in the basement, you are not going off of a light source or like a, you know, the LED light that I have sitting on the ground. And then I totally forgot all of the special outlet covers. So like all of these guys, I went ahead and bought like 30 light covers for everything, and even the cable and the Ethernet that we have to now run. So a little bit more to go. So I'm gonna get at least installing all of the covers, and then we'll be back in a little bit. All right, covers are all on. Now everything that is hot, or that everything is at least done, so I know what is out of the way. Like again, for this switch right here that might control a ceiling fan, that's not powered to anything, but at least I know I don't have to get into that box and do anything. So it just makes you feel a little bit safer, more comfortable. I know electricians are probably gonna yell at me for putting the covers on, and if I ever lose them or lose a screw, is what it is. And then I figured, I know I'm gonna get yelled at for that switch there, so that switch there, I just threw in a box with the cover on. So now you're pretty much safe that you're not gonna be electrocuted or anybody's gonna touch that, or God, even a bird could have landed on that wire in there. Not that that's too much of a concern, but technically they could have tried landing on that and they would have fried themselves. So now we're at least more fireproof and safe. So now let's figure out our next run, and or let's figure out these 3 switches or outlets over here in the master, and then we'll get to running the home run for the outlets, at least to start, for the master bath, and then we'll worry about the lights. Master bedroom is done. All the outlets are done, like I said, except for those 2 by the windows, because I don't want water coming in there and getting wet. As for this side over here, probably not the greatest idea, but I did wire up that one too, but I will not feed that with electricity until we get this window in. And then that guy right there, which is all kind of safe and boxed up with the cover on, that is going to go up into the island in here so that we can have an ironing board in the center here. Now I was just inside eating dinner. It's about midnight, I think, right now. But I was reading some of you guys' comments, and someone did bring up a very good point. It was his recommendation not to use GFCIs on, or ground faults on, some items. But I looked up code, and for the refrigerator in particular, a ground fault is actually not needed for a refrigerator per code, unless it's industrial or commercial. Now, those refrigerators are obviously a heck of a lot bigger than what's in your home, but I don't know that it's gonna hurt anything, because if one refrigerator can do it, then so can all the others. If it were to trip all the time, that would obviously be a big problem, and I would have to replace it. But what he did bring up is ground faults do state that they all have to be easily accessible, and behind a refrigerator, that is not gonna be easily accessible. So I'm gonna have to change that one out for a regular outlet. Whether or not I feel safe to have a home run on one circuit there just for the refrigerator, and to go down into the basement and change that breaker out for a ground fault and arc fault breaker, then that's up to me at a later time. But as far as I know, swapping that out for a regular outlet is not gonna be against code. It's just, again, you're standing here in a puddle of water messing with your refrigerator, and you've just created a ground. Well, not having that ground faulted, it's, you know, again, I don't know why code doesn't make it, but it's not. But I will have to change that out because it's not easily accessible. So the other thing that I need to get working on is I got 2 more of these guys. These are probably overkill. Most people probably just install those blue boxes or other the white fiberglass boxes up into the ceiling. But this one has adjustability. Obviously, we've got 24-inch on center trusses. So if I want a light in a very specific spot, like for example, if you look up there, if you can see it where the chandelier is gonna go, I don't want that chandelier going on any one of those trusses too far this way or too far that way. So got one of these. And these ones are rated at, if they're 16 inches on center, they're rated at 150 pound capacity. And if they're 24 inches on center, they're rated at 90 pounds capacity. So will we have a chandelier that's over 90 pounds? Probably not, but went ahead and at least got that one for that. Same goes with the chandelier that's gonna go in the dining room. I doubt that thing's gonna be over 90 pounds, but they're only $8 and they're made of steel. They're extremely easy to put on and bolt onto the trusses. So just makes my life a little bit easier just to spend $8 and get one on there. And then the other 2 that I got is obviously for the main fan that we're gonna put up in here, because I don't know, I kind of have an envision for a fan up in here in this space being like 10, 12 foot long, like some crazy industrial looking thing, but Aaron will probably nix that idea. But something at least up there for 90 pound capacity is not a bad idea. And then the last one is in the master bedroom. We need to install one more for whatever ceiling fan we put up in there. And again, it's adjustable and it can hold any amount of weight that we really want to throw at it. Oh, and there's one interesting thing that I want to tell you guys that, so I was watching a video of the new Ford F-150 Lightning. I'm actually going to link it below because it's a very good put together video by this guy. Off the top of my head, I can't remember his name, but again, I'm going to link it down below. I want you guys to watch it. So as we were talking before, me putting in like a whole house generator, I don't think I'm actually going to do that now. I will still install like a plug on the outside of the house where I can put in my like gas powered generator, which again will only be, I think 7,500 watts running, 9,500 startup. So we'll only connect that to like its own special box in here. and we may hook that up to, I don't know if you can individually hook up breakers or not, but like the TV on would be nice, the refrigerator on would be nice, the sump pump on, and maybe like one air conditioning unit if that would be okay for 7,000 watts. But the reason why I don't want to buy like a whole house generator and hook it up is because of that Ford F-150 Lightning video. And what is interesting about that truck, which I don't think Tesla has that ability or wants you to have that ability, but the F-150 has the ability to not only take the power from your house and charge it, but also give it back. So if you have an inverter that's charging your truck in your garage at nighttime and your house loses power, if you have it hooked up properly, the truck can actually return its power and push it back into the house, or what you would call like returning to the grid. Well, that truck has as much power as like 2 Tesla wall batteries that you would mount inside of your house. Conservatively, that truck could run an entire house for 7 to 10 days straight. It's like over 10 kilowatt hours of power within that truck. Now, the reason why that's interesting is because we all know where this is going into the future. I don't know how I feel about it yet because there is a lot of damage to the environment on mining lithium and stuff. You just leave massive wastelands of craters a mile deep, killing all the trees and again, the landscape. Yeah, you kind of make a makeshift lake if it ever fills up with water, but lithium mining to me isn't that great. Plus all of the time that you're paying for diesel powered trucks to mine it out, and loaders and excavators, and then trains and trucks and container ships taking it all over the world to get refined over there and put in a battery over there and then shipped to a car manufacturer over here. So I can't say that us going to full electric one day is ever going to be the solution, especially if we're still charging cars off of coal power plants, which I believe the United States is still on like 80% or something stupid high on coal power plants where we get all of our electricity. So anyway, the point of that is to spend like say 10 grand or 7 grand or something on like a whole house generator, when in a few years I may wait for my lease to be up on my 2,500, and who knows, maybe I'll get the Tesla truck or the F-150 Lightning or that I think it's a Riviera or something. And who knows, the Hummer's coming out. I mean, there's so many electric vehicles that not only do they have like 1,000,000 horsepower and like 1,000 foot-pounds of torque and can still haul probably a good 10 to 12,000 pounds of a load, but they're like the fastest things on the planet. Any electric car pretty much is the fastest thing because it's instantaneous horsepower and torque. And again, in 3 or 4 years, when we maybe finish this house out, maybe I do buy a new truck or a new car that actually, again, gives power back to the house. So why would I spend money on a generator if I've got a vehicle with like 10 kilowatt hours of power that even at 50% could still run my house for 5 days? So it would seem stupid to spend all that money on a diesel generator or some sort of thing sitting outside of the house when I've got a little portable that I can pull out every now and again, when, who knows, in the future, our cars may be running our house if the power ever goes out in inclement weather. So yeah, that's kind of why I'm not going to do that right now, because I think it's a good idea to hold off and see where we fall. And then the last update that I want to give you guys, I know everyone's always concerned about what Aaron and I spend and where we need to save money when we say, hey, we're going to run out of money, etc. So I don't think I've ever said this, but Aaron and I 100% are going to run out of money. We are not going to be able to finish this house. Our goal was to always spend the money on to the point where we were going to get the house roughed in. So like right now, let's say if I spend the rest of our money get all of the roof on and all of the siding on. To me, it looks like driving down the street or pulling into the driveway, it looks like the house is done. But when you walk in, this is what you're gonna see. Now, we all know that they say on those home improvement shows, kitchens are supposed to cost like $40, $50, $60,000. Bathrooms are like $40, $50,000. I mean, first off, no, I'm not gonna be paying that, but that's not something that Aaron and I are just gonna be like, well, let's just throw in some Formica countertops and say, screw it, just so we can call it a home. Guys, we may not even get to that point. We are going to run out of money. We only wanted to get it into protected from the weather. Like we said, we already got all of our windows and doors pretty much bought, except for the front one. I still owe them a couple bucks on that because I put down 75% on the entire order. But yeah, we are going to run out of money. So there is a point where I think the videos will decrease, where I'm gonna have to start working more than the minimum. Well, my minimum is only like 2 shifts a month, but like a typical nurse works like 3 12s. I may be doing 4s and 5s so that I can really get that money, get that savings account and bank account back up high, and then we can like start hitting it again. Or we're just gonna have to play it by ear. We're gonna have to spend like 3-4 grand on a credit card, pay that 3 or 4 grand off, and then go buy something else. And when you're talking about appliances and islands and granite and stuff like that, that's pretty much all a purchase right there. And then you're out of money again, and then we have to wait till we pay that bill off. So again, don't freak out. That was the plan. Aaron and I knew this was going to be a very slow rolling process. It's not a bad thing because it gets more footage for you guys. It's not like we are going to build this house in a month and put out 30 videos and then our channel's dead. So it's not the end of the world. That is the game plan, guys. So unless we win the lottery, we had as much money to get into this stage right here. And again, we are better off than where our only one of 9 builders actually gave us a quote. He was at like 284, I think. And I think we're gonna run out of money at like 230. So we're easily 50 grand under him to get to the exact same stage, but it's not like we had an extra 50 grand anyway to basically try and drywall and plumb and finish out the inside of the house. So that is basically where we are right now. So the more you guys like videos, thumbs up. That does put a little bit more coin in our pocket, so that is awesome. It does help out, and yeah, we'll get there eventually, guys. So again, stay with us. Tomorrow I'm gonna go back out here and wrap some more stuff up, so I will see you guys then. But that's where we're standing right now, and hopefully I'll wrap this video up for you guys on like Sunday or Monday, and all of the electric will be done, and then, or at least as much as I need it to be, and then maybe we can get that preemptive check off from the county, and then we'll start thinking about what we may be able to afford or how plumbing actually goes, because I have not researched it at all. I do not know how to plumb. So until then, we'll see you guys tomorrow morning, and I will be back.